Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
That doesn't surprise me, but I would do absolutely everything to avoid that situation.
New information tonight about a bizarre story out of Jamestown. Thanks for joining us tonight. There's unusual behavior going on at Jamestown area rest stops, and some people say they won't be stopping there anymore.
Authorities are sending a warning after several people dialed 911 about two men asking them for money late at night. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson has the latest.
Imagine pulling up to this rest stop just west of Jamestown. It's dark and there aren't people around. A stranger approaches you asking for money.
I feel like I can handle myself, but I don't know if my girls would necessarily know how to keep themselves safe.
Yes, it comes off as a creepy situation, but that's not why Sergeant Benjamin Kennelly is telling the community about it.
You should always be aware of your surroundings, especially in a rural area, which most of our rest areas are rural in North Dakota. But I don't find it any more dangerous than walking in a gas station at 3 in the morning.
He says the two men panhandling haven't made any threats or done anything illegal. Rather, he's worried about what someone might do to the men, saying they have been approaching semi-drivers.
This is just something that we're not used to dealing with. You know, that's an inner city problem where you have people panhandling on the corners, but apparently this person has moved to the rest area, and I'm sure people have given him money. I know for a fact at least one has.
Sergeant Kennelly says it's a local issue. They're pretty sure they know who the men are, and that's what he wants the public to know. They're professional panhandlers.
The same person had been asked for money twice and given two different stories. First time they were out of gas, even though it's a newer white SUV. We believe it's a 2016. So obviously that raises flags to us. But then the second time she was asked for money, they actually had a sling on their arm, and it wasn't for gas, it was because they were hurt.
While you should take extra caution,
Typically, unless I'm with somebody, I wouldn't stop.
the bigger message, the panhandlers in this area are trying to take advantage of people's kindness. In Jamestown, Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
The sergeant adds he doesn't want this situation to stop people from going to the rest stops. The two men aren't considered dangerous, but here's what you need to know. They are believed to only be in the Jamestown area, and they are driving a white Kia SUV with no license plates.
Fargo police are reminding people parking downtown to make sure they lock up their cars and bikes and anything else of value. Police say their downtown officer took multiple reports Tuesday of thefts from underground garages. The multiple victims, each at a different location, are estimated to be out $23,000 worth of items. You're urged to lock your vehicles and your bicycles and remove all valuables from your parked car, including any garage remotes.
A Moorhead neighborhood is still on high alert tonight after a man came home to find a burglar in his house.
Authorities were called to a home in the 2100 block of 17th Street South around 12:15 p.m. The homeowner told police the suspect appeared to be in the process of stealing property. The suspect ran out a side door and the homeowner chased him. And that's when the robber allegedly pointed a handgun at the homeowner. Valley News Team's Giovanna Simic has reaction from neighbors.
Neighbors are still shocked after Tuesday's scary situation.
Was pretty just kind of worried, a little shooken up about it.
It still hasn't really soaked in yet, but it's something to keep you thinking about it.
Dale Hatfield has been living in this neighborhood since 1964. He says before today's events, the scariest thing he had ever seen happen here is people dying of natural causes.
I've never lived any place that wasn't a safe neighborhood, so I hate to think of things like that even happening.
Other neighbors say they never expected a burglary to take place in this quiet area.
It's pretty scary. You don't really think that thing's going to happen in Moorhead, you know, especially in this little area with the schools right here.
It's a quiet neighborhood, and we usually don't have a lot of issues down here. It's a lot of single families and kids running around, and we don't normally have problems in this area of town at all.
But now, neighbors are being extra cautious so that something like this doesn't happen to them.
I take precautions, lock everything up.
We try to always have the house locked, the cars locked at night, but like I said, during the day, when it's noon, you're not really too worried about it.
In Moorhead, Giovanna Simic, Valley News Live.
Police are looking for a white man with longer dark hair. He may have been wearing a yellow hoodie with a dark colored jacket over the top. If you saw anything suspicious, you're asked to give Moorhead Police a call.
A student survey shows Holly, Minnesota has a higher rate of underage drinking compared to the Minnesota average. Well, that number, along with other factors, qualified the school district and local nonprofit to receive a 5-year grant for just under $1 million. This grant will allow the community to implement a curriculum, create a substance abuse prevention coalition, local nonprofit Reach, hoping to change the perception of alcohol in the eyes of youth.
A majority of students don't use alcohol. That's the reality. So instead of using scare tactics or things like programs that have not shown proven evidence of reducing alcohol, to promote those positive activities instead that are going on in the community.
Crile adds in the first year they'll focus on alcohol, but in the following years they'll incorporate drug use.
It's Tuesday night, so it's time for another restaurant report card.
Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker checked out 3 restaurants in Grand Forks, where 2 of the 3 reported critical violations.
A staple in Grand Forks for more than 30 years, Bonzer's Sandwich Pub, supporting the University of North Dakota on almost every wall, feels more like your favorite relative's kitchen than a restaurant. They're this week's Clean Plate Award winner because of their critical violation-free inspection report.
Critical violation sounds pretty serious, but it can be for some very simple things too that can be easily fixed. So it's just something you got to constantly be on top of and looking out for.
Matt Bonzer grew up at this restaurant and says there are 2 main reasons why they manage to always pass their inspections with flying colors.
It's because of John Bonzer. He takes it very, very, very seriously, and it's made a point to instill that in me. So he's certified, I'm certified. We really focus on keeping an open dialogue with the health inspectors.
Maybe an open dialogue with health inspectors could help these next 2 restaurants. China Garden received 3 critical violations on their latest health inspection report. Their manager didn't have a food manager license, they weren't dating their food correctly, and didn't clean surfaces that come in contact with food properly. This is the 2nd time they've been on restaurant report card and the 2nd time they didn't comment on their violations. Amazing Grains received 4 critical violations. Thermometers in fridges and freezers weren't accurate, they weren't properly dating or cooling their food, and they weren't cleaning surfaces that come in contact with food properly. Amazing Grains did not give us a comment. In Grand Forks for Restaurant Report Card, I'm Cornelius Hawker.
Go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story for a complete look at the restaurant's inspection reports.
Nielsen says an estimated 80 million people tuned in to last night's presidential debate, which would make it one of the largest audiences ever for a political debate. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were back out on the campaign trail today. Both campaigns are claiming victory in the face-off, during which the candidates sparred over the economy, national security, and racial issues. They have 6 weeks left to convince undecided voters to support them on Election Day. Their next debate is set for October 9th.